What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing? We got a lot of news to talk about. We got Yankee news, Oakland A's news. We got some starting pitchers to talk about. We got a shortstop to talk about. Actually, a couple of shortstops to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. And what's going on, baseball fans? Hello. Welcome to another night of news. What is going on, everyone? How are we doing? Seeing a lot of familiar faces in the chat. I'm seeing some members in the chat. I'm seeing a couple of our moderators in the chat. Actually, is it just one moderator for right now? Just one of our moderators in the chat. Again, a lot of familiar faces. Any new faces out there, hello, welcome to the channel. We're talking baseball over here. We're talking a lot of baseball. We got a lot of baseball news to talk about tonight. Hey, those good old New York Yankees in the news. Hey, could this be another offseason where the Yankees dominate the headlines? I mean, we're already kind of maybe looking that way. We're going to talk about the Oakland A's tonight. We're going to talk about a couple of free agents out there already receiving some early interest. The offseason starting to pick up a little steam. We're going to dive into all of it. But everyone, hope you're doing well tonight. Seeing 50 people in the chat as of right now. Also, everyone, before I do get started, if you are not aware, I've just posted my free agent predictions for this offseason. I have my top 40 free agents. It's about 30 minutes long. Can't remember exactly how long it is, but that is there. If you would like to go check that out, go check that out now. Come back after you're done here. Go check it out then, or just don't watch it at all. That's completely fine too. But yeah, those are all of my free agent predictions. They're all going to be wrong, but you know what? They are fun. So go ahead, take a look. I think, even if they are all wrong, I think I at least dive into team needs, if anything. It at least gives you an idea of maybe how teams are going to be looking at this offseason. So it could be worth a watch. So if you watch it, cool. But also, if you are new, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. We're getting kind of close. We're at 14.8. You don't want to miss any offseason news. You don't want to miss all the rumors, the trade news, rumors, free agent news and rumors, all of it. Everyone, hit that like button for me. Hit that like button for me now if you can. Let's get this stream out there to more people. Hit that bell notification as well so you don't miss any streams. And hey, share any of the content from this channel with anyone you might know. So, also, everyone, we do have memberships on the channel. If you click on the join button on my homepage, you'll see a join button. And the perks that you get for just 99 cents a month, you get badges and emojis, Q&As for live shows, and an access to a private Discord and a subreddit that will be made rather shortly. We also have a partnership with Dr. Squatch. You get 10% off your first order of $20 or more. If you're looking to up your soap game, then go give a look for Dr. Squatch. I've been using Dr. Squatch for over a year now. They're my favorite soap. So, but everyone, let's get to it. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got too much to talk about tonight. I'm not going to keep you too long. I am extremely tired. I've been working on that free agent video for over a week. Just got done with it earlier tonight. I underestimated how long that was going to take. I'm a sleepy boy. I got to get to bed soon. It's already past my bedtime. But let's talk about the first bit of news tonight. We have the Yankees showing interest in stars. Are the New York Yankees back? Are they back to spending some big money? It's maybe looking that way. But not even just big money. They could also be looking into the trade market as well. We'll talk about that here. Let's share the screen. Oh, also, everyone, let me get the Let me get the music started for you. Let me set the tone here. I apologize. Always forget to get that music turned on for you. Here we go. Music is on. Alrighty. And there we go. Alrighty, here we go. Alrighty, so Brian Cashman already getting off to a bit of a hot start this offseason. So Yankees Brian Cashman talking about Carlos Correa today, even talking a little Anthony Rizzo today. A lot of GMs, it's the GM meetings right now, so you got all this activity going on. A lot of general managers, president of baseball operations, meeting with agents and whatnot, meeting with whoever is important out there. Even Scott Boras was making his rounds today. Scott Boras just completely hyping up all of his players that he represents, making them look like $1 million. I mean, literally. I mean, hey, they're gonna be making millions of dollars. So, but with Brian Cashman, so the news on the Yankees with their payroll. Cashman said he has some latitude on the team's budget after talking to owner Hal Steinbrenner. The club was able to stay below the luxury tax threshold of $210 million this past year, so their luxury tax is going to reset. So even if they go over it, they're only going to have to pay those first-year penalties because they did reset it. So actually, really quick, we can go take a look at what the Yankees payroll is going to be looking like as of right now. I mean, they got a couple of big contracts here. Garrett Cole, Stanton, you got Chapman. Don't forget, you got a couple of these guys that are going to be becoming free agents after this coming season. So Chapman, Britton. So this makes a lot of sense that the Yankees are thinking about spending money now. They probably think, well, you know what? If we go spend some money, we'll only have to pay those first-year penalties, and we have money, a lot of money coming off of the books for next season. I mean, if you take a look here, you got $30 million coming off the books. You got Odor, who has a club option. I'm sure they'll deny that. And then Severino, I mean, there's a club option on that as well. So you have potentially here, $30 million. There's $42 million. There's another 11.5. So you're looking at over $50 million coming off the books for next year. So the Yankees are probably thinking, hey, we got some money here coming off the books, and hey, their payroll for this year, it's at $216 million as of right now. So they're in okay shape. They're in okay shape. So they were able to get it under 210 last year. So yeah, the Yankees are in good shape to spend some money, but where do they spend that money? Well, Cashman, he talked a little bit about today, he talked a little bit about Carlos Correa today, and also, hey, Corey Seager, the Yankees checking in on both of these guys. We'll talk about Corey Seager here in a little bit, but Cashman did make some comments today about a Carlos Correa. He went on to say Correa is just a very talented player, obviously puts up numbers with the best of them. He's obviously had an incredible career thus far. Certainly not afraid. He's pushed forward regardless of the circumstances. He's clearly not afraid because of that sign stealing fallout, and it has not affected his play. And then he did go on to say, a lot of Yankee fans might not like the move, might boo the move, just because of the whole cheating scandal. But Brian Cashman says here he's not really worried. He's not really concerned about how the fans would feel about it. At the end of the day, hey, if you're able to add a guy like a Carlos Correa, a guy that's good with the bat, good with the glove, which honestly the Yankees need. They need to get some better defense at shortstop. There's no question about it. I've been saying this going back to last year. So many people didn't want to listen to me. And and look what ended up happening. Gleyber Torres no longer the shortstop. That's exactly what I was saying last year. I'm like, you got to go get yourself a shortstop. And so many Yankee fans out there were telling me, no, Gleyber Torres, he's fine. He's going to be fine. He's going to be a good shortstop. And there you go. So I don't like to say I told you so, but I told you so. There are a lot of Yankee fans out there, too, that knew he was not good defensively. But I don't know. Anyway, but the Yankees definitely looking at a shortstop. No surprise here to see them interested in Correa, interested in Seager as well. And he also made some comments about Anthony Rizzo. So it says here, Cashman also spoke to the agent for Anthony Rizzo. He went on to say, he obviously was really good for us, we feel, both on the offensive side and the defensive side and on leadership. So he brings a lot of good things to the table. I know he liked it here. I know we liked having him, but nothing has gone past that. So this sounds very positive to me. This sounds really good. I think that's a good thing. nothing sounds very weird. He had very positive things to say. I think it's very smart work. I think Cashman definitely picked his words carefully. He was very positive. He praised Anthony Rizzo a lot, because the one thing here that I think the Yankees are really going to gun for is making a trade. And there is a guy out there by the name of Matt Olson. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's on the Oakland A's. He's very good. Hits a lot of home runs. This guy had an insanely good season. Well, the Yankees supposedly are interested in Matt Olson. So, according to, who was this today? Brendan Cootie of NewJersey.com went on to say that the Yankees were engaged with the Oakland A's over a possible Matt Olson trade. So very interesting. And there's no surprise, because the A's, they're trying to cut payroll here. Matt Olson's going to get himself a rather decent contract. He's actually going to get himself a pretty good raise this year with arbitration. He's expected to be making $12 million this year. And for the A's, I mean, you got an organization here that is really just in limbo right now. You don't know where you're going to be going. Are you still going to be in Oakland? Are you going to be moving to Las Vegas? I mean, where the heck are you going if you're the Oakland A's? You don't even know. But right now, you're trying to cut payroll, and you know they're trying to cut payroll because they got rid of their old manager, who was only making what, like $3-4 million. I mean, that's when you really know you're cutting costs at that point. Wouldn't be surprised to see Sean Manaea go somewhere. I don't know. I could definitely see Chapman going somewhere, maybe Bassett too. I really could see them really getting rid of some of these guys. Absolutely. And Matt Olson, I mean, $12 million. He's not a free agent until 2024, so he's very attractive for a team to be able to get a Matt Olson for 2 years. That's not bad, if you ask me. A left-handed first baseman. I mean, that's a perfect fit for Yankee Stadium right there. I mean, this is the kind of guy that you want. He's only 27 years old. I mean, look at the year that he had. 271 average, 39 home runs, 111 RBIs, a 911 OPS. What was that WRC plus again? A 146 WRC plus. Let's actually go pull up Matt Olson. I'm very curious here. How many home runs would he have had if he was in Yankee Stadium? So if you go to Baseball Savant actually has a neat little part of each player's page where they have an expected amount of home runs if you played at that stadium. So let's see where he would have fallen. Well, if he had played with the Yankees last year, he would have had 41 home runs, at least expected, according to Baseball Savant. They take into the account just the stadiums themselves, the wall heights, the dimensions, the distances. So, hey, he fits pretty good in Yankee Stadium. I think we all kind of knew that anyway. But, hey, I think he would be a great fit for the Yankees. And this actually might make, I mean, if you really think about it, if Matt Olson, if he's going to be, I mean, he's going to be getting arbitration this year. If he's going to be making $12 million, well, who would you rather pay? You're going to be basically paying similar money for an Anthony Rizzo. Let's actually go to Fangraphs. They have their top 50 free agents right now, and they actually give you an expected number of kind of what they're thinking when it comes to these contracts. So as of right now, Ben Clemens, he's thinking a 2-year deal for $26 million. That sounds about right. I feel like he ends up getting 3. I could see maybe 3 years, 13, 14 million, something like that. Maybe even as high as 15 million. I'll go 3 years, 15 million for an Anthony Rizzo. So 3 years, 45 million. But would you rather pay, Anthony Rizzo 15 million for a year, or would you rather just pay Matt Olson, 12.5? I mean, I think that's an obvious answer right there. So the Yankees, they're gunning hard after a Matt Olson. There's no surprise there. And you know what? And that actually makes sense too, because, hey, he's going to be a little cheaper than an Anthony Rizzo most likely. And you have some prospects here. I mean, if you're the Yankees here, you got Anthony Volpe. Is it Volpe? I don't know. But either way, the guy, a lot of scouts like him out there. He really came onto the scene this past year, had himself a really good year in the minor leagues. But you also have an Oswald Peraza. So if you're the A's, I mean, you maybe have something that you can work with here. Could you also maybe even, hey, we're going to break it out for the first time this offseason, baseballtradevalues.com. Here we go. We are back and better than ever. Baseballtradevalues.com. Oh, I have missed this website. It has been a while, but here we go. If you're not familiar with Baseball Trade Values, it is very, very, very close to how these major league teams operate when it comes to trades and how they come to valuing players. There's going to be a lot of haters out there on this website, but this is going to be the best trade simulator, at least the closest. It's not going to be perfect all the time, and the people that make this website say that themselves. It's never going to be perfect. You can never fully predict what's going on with the market as well. And just one really quick note, if you go to the history tab on their page, they have over a 95% acceptance rate on their simulator. That's pretty good if you ask me. If you get, I've said this last offseason, I said it during the trade deadline, and I'll say it again. If you get a 95% on a test, hey, that's a pretty good score if you ask me. So they've had 254 real-life trades go through their simulator, and 242 of them have been accepted. So keep note of that. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but this is the closest thing that you're going to get when it comes to a trade simulator. So let's put together a trade here. Let's see what it would take for a Yankees-A's trade. Let's put the Yankees on the left here. Let's put the A's over here on the right. So with the A's, you're going to be giving up a Matt Olson. So let's take a look here. So Matt Olson, according to Baseball Trade Values, has a value of $45 million. So $45.3 million. You have to take into account what they do here is they look at the age, they look at the performance, they look at how much money they're making, and they kind of make it, they put it all into an algorithm similar to algorithms that Major League Baseball teams use for their own algorithms. So taking a look here, Matt Olson on the Yankees. So what would it take? What would it take? Well, let's say, hey, the Yankees seem to be enamored with an Anthony Volpe. Is it Volpe? I feel like I've heard like two different ways to say it. I'm going to say Volpe. That's more fun to say. Let's say Volpe. But let's take a look here. Well, he has a value of, where are you at? He has a value of 46.4. I don't think the Yankees are going to get rid of him. I just don't see it. They seem to be enamored with him. He really had himself a good year. So I'm going to say he is off limits. I'm going to say that is not going to happen. Pretty funny also, actually, that he is their number one prospect now. I mean, what the heck happened with Jason Dominguez? This guy was like the next Mike Trout. And, I mean, he ended up having an okay year in the minor leagues. I mean, he went up as high as A-ball. He hit 258, 5 homers. I mean, I don't know, man. The on-base was pretty good. I don't know. Jason Dominguez, he has a long way to go. Now, could you maybe consider an Oswald Peraza? Let's take a look at Peraza. So if we scroll down here, well, Peraza has a value of $25.5 million. So that's a good starting point. That really bridges the gap here for a Matt Olson. And then, hey, throw in a couple of more prospects or, some cheaper guys. At the end of the day, that's what they're going to want. Maybe Davy Garcia. I mean, Davy Garcia, this guy was looking like the next best thing since sliced bread with the Yankees at one point, and he had himself just a horrible season in the minor leagues this year. Taking a look at the minors this year, he had a 6.85 ERA. Maybe a change of scenery would be good for a Davy Garcia. I could see something like that. Why not? I mean, look at the value though, 2.6. What the heck happened, Davy Garcia? I don't know, man. I don't know. You could go a couple of different routes. There's all these different routes that you could go. Let me just plug in the by the numbers. I mean, could you go, maybe a Domingo Germán possibly? Could you send back maybe Luke Voit? Could you send back Luke Voit? I mean, that seems to make sense if you ask me. So let's plug in Voit. I mean, he's only got 3.1 value. I mean, hey, Luke Voit in an A's uniform, I mean, I don't know, kind of gives me Jason Giambi vibes a little bit, from the right side. Hey, Luke Voit in an A's uniform, that doesn't sound too bad if you ask me. But we're getting close here. Maybe one more player gets this done. A 4-for-1 for Olson. That sounds right in my head when you're thinking of someone like a Matt Olson. Maybe throw in one more guy. I don't know. We already got a pitcher, a shortstop, a first baseman. I don't know. Let's maybe throw in one more pitcher here. I don't know. Someone like I don't know. One of these guys, maybe from 10 to the 20 range. I don't know. They're probably not going to get rid of an Austin Wells. I think they love him. Maybe someone like a Medina. That's possible. I don't know. Let's just plug him in. So you're probably looking something kind of close here. It's a slight overpay, but at least this is probably, obviously this is probably not going to be anywhere near the package if it ends up, getting done. But I could see something like this where you send back a Peraza. I think a Voit would make sense to include in a trade like this. Hey, a Garcia could use a change of scenery and then throw in another pitching prospect or whatever else. I think you might have something here, and I think this would be really good for both sides. But that's just my opinion. But with Voit, he seems to make sense to me because when you look at how much money he's going to be making, I mean, he's only going to be making 5.4. So you're having to, bring in a little payroll back if you're the A's, but hey, you're saving yourself around $7 million. And Voit, a change of scenery could be good for him too. He had trouble finding playing time last year. He was getting hurt. Honestly, I could really see Luke Voit as an Oakland A. It just kind of, I don't know, it just gives me those vibes. Kind of like Jason Giambi in a way. But that's where I'm at with that. We'll have to wait and see what the Yankees end up doing. I do expect the Yankees to make some kind of a move at first. I don't think they stick with Luke Voit. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like they kind of made that known last year. I mean, they ended up going out and getting an Anthony Rizzo. I think they just said, you know what, Voit, when he's good, he's good. When he's healthy, he's good. But he's just never healthy with us. He's just too inconsistent with his health. So I think they made it known that they basically said, yeah, Luke Voit, you're not going to be with us moving forward. I'd be very surprised if Luke Voit is still a Yankee next year. I think you're going to see someone like a Matt Olson, like an Anthony Rizzo. I think it makes sense for Cashman to say what he did about Anthony Rizzo, giving him praise, saying nice things, because, hey, trades don't often work out. So it's you got to keep it good with Anthony Rizzo. That's a good backup option if you're the Yankees. But you also don't want to be letting him just sitting out there. He did like his time with the Yankees, Anthony Rizzo has said. So, but at the end of the day, he's a man. He's got to go find work too. So it'd be interesting to see how the Yankees operate here. But speaking of Corey Seager, we were talking about Corey Seager. So Corey Seager is drawing some interest. And he's getting it from the Texas Rangers, as well as the Yankees, like I said. But Corey Seager and the Rangers, there's a connection here, and let's go talk about it. So John Morosi tweeting out today, and this is no big surprise. This is not a big-time story by any means. I'm not surprised to see this, but the Rangers officials have met with Scott Boras, the agent for Corey Seager. Seager is known to have a strong relationship with Texas manager Chris Woodward. Remember, Chris Woodward was one of the coaches for the Dodgers a couple of years ago before becoming the manager of the Rangers. So they have a connection. They had a good relationship. So Corey Seager, to me, I would not be surprised to see him land with the Rangers. I think the Rangers land a shortstop. I think they do. Question is, who do they land? Corey Seager? I think personally Corey Seager is a better fit for the Yankees, both in the short term and the long term. I think Corey Seager, personally, he can play short. He's a big guy. He's a lot taller than you would think, a lot bigger than you would think, and a lot of guys think that he ends up maybe going to third base, maybe even moving to first base at one point, at some point down the road. But a lot of scouts think he ends up at third, which makes sense because if the Yankees want to bring up Anthony Volpe, well, then you can have him as your shortstop, and then Corey Seager can slide over to third. It just makes a lot of sense. The lefty bat in Yankee Stadium, he makes a lot of good contact. The Yankees need guys like that, and hey, Seager, that's a good bat to have in your lineup. He's going to cost you a penny, but I feel like he fits better with the Yankees just because he fits into their system a little bit more. He fits into their ballpark a little bit more. He fits into their short-term and long-term plans. Where with the Rangers, I think they just need to get an all-around kind of a guy that you can just build around, someone like a Carlos Correa or a Trevor Story. I think one of those two guys are going to end up with the Rangers. Who? I don't know. But Corey Seager, I think there is a chance Corey Seager could end up with Texas. Don't discount a good relationship. Never discount it. So he has a good head on his shoulders. He has a good work ethic. The Rangers are trying to put together a winning culture. They want to bring in not just talented guys, but they want to bring in championship pedigree kind of guys. That's the identity the Rangers are trying to build. They're trying to build a winner. And how do you build a winner? Well, you got to add winners to a winner. Does that make sense? But Corey Seager to the Rangers, definitely a possibility. We'll have to keep an eye on it. To me, I think he's a better fit for the Yankees. That's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know in the chat. I'm very excited to see what you guys think about that. And also, go check out my predictions. Do I have Corey Seager going to the Yankees? You'll have to go watch. Who do I have going to the Rangers? You're going to have to go watch. But that is that on Corey Seager. Now, let's go back. Let's backtrack a little bit here. Let's go back to the Oakland A's. So the Oakland A's, we were talking about maybe the Yankees trading for Matt Olson. Well, hey, I mean, I was just mentioning this earlier. The A's got a bunch of other guys that they could trade. And supposedly, they're looking to just get rid of everyone. So let's go take a look at the story here. Okay, here we go, changing the screen. So the Athletics appear set for a significant payroll reduction. I kind of mentioned this earlier. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but Jon Heyman is reporting that, let's go to the tweet here from Jon Heyman, which Jon Heyman, take with a grain of salt sometimes. He can be a little up and down. He'll get some stuff, and then he'll get some stuff wrong, but I don't see why he would be wrong on this one. GM David Forrest of the cash-strapped A's said they are willing to listen on everyone. This is the cycle for the A's. We have to listen and be open to whatever comes out of this. This is our lot in Oakland until it's not. Now, very interesting comments. I think honestly the A's, I think they're just gonna unload. You got guys here that teams are interested in. You got someone like a Sean Manaea who is just about to turn 30 years old, had himself a pretty good season last year. Someone like a Chris Bassett who's gonna be 33. I could see Chris Bassett getting moved. Absolutely could see that. The Yankees, I wonder, could you maybe the Yankees need a number 2 starter. They need a number 2 guy. I mean, could you maybe look at maybe a Matt Olson, Chris Bassett package? It's very possible. The Yankees could use a number 2. He's not a free agent until 2023. Could you maybe put those 2 guys together in a deal? Do the A's do separate deals? That's possible as well. I think that's more likely. But he is very cheap. He's only going to be $5 million. I think the Yankees might be interested in something like that. I could see the Yankees being interested in that. Had himself good numbers, 27 starts this year, a 12-4 record, a 3.34 FIP, 3.15 ERA. A very good year for Chris Bassett. He's been pretty solid with the A's. So I could definitely see the Yankees being interested in him. Maybe someone like a Sean Manaea as well. Could you maybe do a package of a Sean Manaea and a Matt Olson? That is also possible. But with Sean Manaea, 32 starts this past year, he's going to give you innings. That is something the Yankees, they need guys that can throw innings. So I wouldn't be surprised about this one either. Bassett with some better numbers, but Manaea were very good as well. 3.65 FIP, 3.91 ERA. He's not a free agent until 2023 either, so he's got one more year left until free agency. I definitely think the A's, this is their chance. The A's don't really have, so let me actually go pull up here. On Fangraphs, they actually have their own farm system ranking. So if you go over here, Oakland, they have the second worst farm system according to Fangraphs. Not very good. The White Sox, as of right now, they are dead last. But the Oakland A's, they got a lot of work to do in improving this farm. Man, oh man, they got some work to do. So this is, I think the A's just unload everyone. This is their chance to bring in prospects. You can get prospects for a Sean Manaea and a Chris Bassett. You can definitely get someone for Matt. Obviously, you're going to get yourself a really good package for a Matt Olson. Matt Chapman, absolutely you can get yourself a couple of guys. I'm not the biggest fan of Matt Chapman when it comes to the offense. He's going to bring you power, but the average, the on base, not a big fan. I know he was coming off of hip surgery, but the one thing with Matt Chapman, he is not a free agent until 2024. He still has an amazing glove. You got to love that glove. He's going to be a solid player to have on your team. There's a lot of teams out there that would love to have a Matt Chapman. Let's actually take a look here. Who are some teams that could use... Actually, let me go here to... let me go to the positional depth charts. Let's go to third base here. Here we go. So who are some teams that could use a third baseman? Well, probably not the Orioles. The Nationals probably going to give Carter Kieboom a good look. Maybe not the Cubs. They're probably, good for now, I would say. Could you see a team like the Diamondbacks? I could maybe see a team like the Diamondbacks. Very interesting comments today. Oh, we got a super chat from It's Your Boy. Top craziest 5 hypothetical moves this offseason. Ooh, It's Your Boy. I'll have to really think about that. Hypothetical moves. I mean, are you talking about like it's possible just trades or free agents or both? If I were to give you one, man, I'll give you maybe this is a video. I might actually maybe make a video on this. Maybe some trade ideas for this offseason. Maybe some. I actually do have another video that I'm going to be putting out maybe this week or next week. Most likely next week because this past video I just did, it took me forever to make. I need a bit of a break. But this could actually be a video where maybe I'm going to... Well, I have a video planned out already where I have one free agent that each team should sign. So that will be out some point next week. But I also might do this for trades as well. So It's Your Boy. I appreciate the super chat. Be on the lookout for some videos. If I were to come up with one right now, one trade. Oh, man, I got to think about this because I haven't looked too much into the trades as of right now. I mean, honestly, I could see the Yankees... Really, I mean, now that we're talking about the Yankees here, I mean, the Yankees got some prospects that they can work with. I think the Yankees could be a sneaky team out there. Look out for the Diamondbacks too. If we were go back to what we were just looking at with the where did it go? Hold on. Let me go back to the board. Arizona right now, they have the 4th ranked farm system. I wouldn't be surprised to see Arizona make some kind of a trade. I wouldn't be surprised about that. And let me actually go back here. Hold on a second. Let me go back to MLB trade rumors because, funny enough, they actually posted something today. Was it today or was it yesterday? Here it is. Take a look. Take a look. Diamondbacks targeting bullpen third base help. Here you go. Here's a hypothetical move for you. It's your boy, Matt Chapman to the Diamondbacks. And look at these comments. Look at the comments that the general manager said. So he said something about defense. Where did it go? Hold on. Diamondbacks. No. Where did that go? I know he said something that they were giving away runs or they were just giving up games when it came to their defense. Where is it here? Well, it does say here on the position player side, called third base, the clearest need on our infield. So He mentioned defense here. Where did he mention it? I don't know. I read it somewhere. I don't know if this was the article that I read or if it was another one. But I know he said that defense is something they want to improve. I mean, you got a guy right here in Matt Chapman. I mean, this makes a lot of sense. Matt Chapman. You can go get him. I mean, why not? Let's actually put together a trade. Let's do a trade here. Going to the Diamondbacks. Let's do Matt Chapman. All right, so A's. I mean, he's not going to be too bad to get. A $24 million value. Let me get rid of Olson here. And then, I mean, the Diamondbacks could definitely get him. So, let's see. I don't think you wouldn't have to give up a lot. Let's go to the Diamondbacks prospects. Let me actually pull up here. Let me pull up their payroll as well. Who are some cheap guys that they could send back? Diamondbacks. Come on, Fangraphs. You're killing me. There we go. Payroll. Well, I don't see them giving up any pitching. They need pitching. So I don't see that very much. But I could maybe see, I don't know, could you do someone like, could you take back like a, I don't know, like a David Peralta for a year or something? I don't know. Maybe just to entice the trade. I don't know. Maybe they could, I don't know. Just thinking off the top of my head right now. I mean, there's a bunch of guys that you could do. Let me go to the Diamondbacks prospects. So, I mean, could you do one of these guys? Maybe a Slade Sassoni. Maybe someone like a Christian Robinson. I don't know. Could you maybe do Nick Ahmed? I mean, I honestly think the Diamondbacks need to upgrade at shortstop. Don't be surprised if the Diamondbacks get involved with the shortstops. Don't be surprised if they go get someone like Trevor Story. I wouldn't be surprised about it at all. I mean, don't be surprised if they jump in on someone like a Corey Seager. I wouldn't be surprised about that. I don't think Nick Ahmed is a great option. He's going to be decent with the glove, but with the bat, it's just a hole in your lineup. I mean, the A's, they just, I don't know. If we go to Oakland, when it comes to shortstop, do they still have Andrews? Yeah, you still got Andrews. Is he a free agent soon? I don't even know. So he's got a vesting. Okay, so vesting options. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you could figure something out here. Let's do Ahmed. Let's do that. I'm just putting a trade together here. Oh, Ahmed's, forget that. He's -11. Good grief. Well, that's not going to happen. All right. I don't know. Whatever. You can maybe put in a couple of guys. Saccone. I don't know. Maybe you could send back a Luke Weaver. Possibly. Maybe someone like a Walston. Probably not. I'm just thinking here. Maybe like someone like a Del Castillo. Probably not. Jarvis, no. I don't know. I was thinking off the top of my head, so don't kill me if I just put in some random guys. But, I don't know, maybe a Vukovic. And, I don't know, Seth Beer never really seems to get any opportunities. Seth Beer with the Oakland A's, that sounds all right if you ask me. I don't know, maybe one more guy here to kind of just fill the gap. I don't know, someone like Nelson. Nelson was... Where is Nelson? Well, I don't know. Just something like that. Maybe something like this gets it done. I don't know. I'm not saying these exact players, but these are the values. So with Matt Chapman, I could definitely see Matt Chapman with the Diamondbacks. I think that'd actually be a really good fit. Yeah, that would bring some stability to their infield. He would bring some power there, obviously some great defense. But that's kind of what I'm thinking here. So look out for the Diamondbacks. I'm surprised, honestly. MLB trade rumors in this article that I pulled up. I mean, they had a couple of options here. You took a look here, beyond Chris Bryant and Kyle Seager, the free agent market offers mostly utility types at the hot corner. Kind of surprised they didn't mention, any possible trades here. I mean, Chapman to me is kind of a no-brainer kind of a guy that you could go get. So, but then with the A's as well, I mean, you're looking at, let me go back to the A's. I mean, you're looking at quite a few options here. I mean, Bassett, I think, is going to find himself a home. Probably keep Frankie Montas. He's not breaking the bank with you. So, yeah, I'm not going to be surprised about if these 5 guys, maybe not Pinder, but Manaea, Bassett, Chapman, Olson, I think it's very possible they could find homes. Just kind of like just what the Cubs did at the trade deadline. Just unload everyone. Bring in prospects. Look at what all these good prospects the Cubs brought back. A lot of good prospects. A lot of good young pieces. I could see Oakland doing the same thing here. So, but let's move on. So, our next story. Let's get into a couple of free agents. I'm going to run through these next few stories a little more quickly here. It's almost bedtime. I'm sure some of you are going to get to bed soon too. So let's talk about one guy. He's already receiving some offers out there. And I know this guy, well, not personally, but I know of him very well. And that is Eduardo Rodriguez. Well, supposedly the Red Sox have made a multi-year offer for an Eduardo Rodriguez. And but it looks like another team is trying to jump into the fray. So let's dive in here and let's take a look at what we are looking at here. So let me pull up the story. Alrighty, so right now, according to reports, according to John Heyman, the Red Sox have made a multi-year deal to Eduardo Rodriguez in addition to the $18.4 million qualifying offer. In a way, I'm kind of surprised a little bit, but I'm not surprised at the same time. I'm surprised about the multi-year offer. I mean, the one thing with Eduardo Rodriguez, let's pull up Boston's rotation here. The one reason I could see bringing back Eduardo Rodriguez, at least for a year, is because you kind of need some guys in the rotation that are going to give you some innings. I mean, with Nathan Eovaldi, he always feels like an injury risk to me. He's like, to me, I feel like he's just like a ticking time bomb. You never know how he's going to be doing health-wise. And Chris Sale, obviously just coming back from Tommy John, but how is he going to be moving forward? Are you going to get the old Chris Sale? Are you going to get a different version of a Chris Sale moving forward? And then Nick Pivetta, is he going to be able to take a step forward next year? He made some progress this year. Can he make more progress? Tanner Houck is still a young guy. I'm sure he ends up taking a step forward. And then as of right now, you got someone like a Connor Seabold in the 5 spot, which I won't be surprised to see someone like Connor Seabold get some attention this year in the major leagues, or get some playing time. But then you also have other options as well, like someone like a Garrett Whitlock right now. Could you put him in the rotation? I think with a Garrett Whitlock, man, I just feel like you got to keep that guy in the bullpen. I think he should be your closer. Matt Barnes, to me, has always been a better setup guy. Always been a better setup guy. He had a good run last year in the closer role, but his time was just up in that role. He was just awful in the second half. But you got some other good options here. But Garrett Whitlock, to me, I think that guy should be your closer. To me, he was clearly your best guy in the bullpen last year. Have that guy close out games, or at least give it a try. See if he, warms up well to the closer role. But we'll have to wait and see on that. I can see Eduardo Rodriguez coming back. A little surprised about the multi-year deal because his advanced numbers are good. I'm not saying Eduardo Rodriguez isn't good. I personally feel like you feel like within Eduardo Rodriguez, at least with me, I feel like he's either like just not a good fit with the Red Sox just because of how they are on defense. He gives up a lot of contacts. He gives up not just a lot of ground balls, he gives up a lot of fly balls as well. The Red Sox defense, in the outfield, the outfielders are better than how they are in the infield. But still, they can make some goofs out there sometimes. And I don't know, the infield, I don't know, they don't help him out as much. He gives up a lot of contact. So with Eduardo Rodriguez, I feel like sometimes he's just not a good fit with the Red Sox and how they play. But then again, with Eduardo Rodriguez, I feel like there's times where you feel like there's another level for him, and it feels like he just never just takes that step forward, you know? Like, he has decent velocity, he has decent stuff. He just feels too hittable. You know, he's able to work himself out of jams. He can give up some walks here and there. But it just feels like he's just a really good above average pitcher who's on the cusp of being really, really good. And it just feels like he never gets to that next level, if that makes any sense. But again, the one thing about Eduardo Rodriguez is he gives you innings and he's going to give you starts. That's the one thing that's such an underappreciated thing in a starting rotation, a guy that can go make his turn every 5 days. That's the one good thing about Eduardo Rodriguez. So I'm not surprised to see, that the Red Sox have made a qualifying offer for him. Of course, I'm not going to hate Rodriguez coming back for a year, but the multi-year deal, maybe a little bit, but again, also not surprised a little bit too, just because they don't really have they're still trying to build up that farm system again. So Eduardo Rodriguez, he makes sense as like a mainstay in this rotation. But the question is, does he end up getting more offers out there? The Angels have supposedly checked in on Eduardo Rodriguez, taking a look at this report here. So, Minnesota, how do you pronounce the Angels general manager? Is it Minason? I can't figure out how to say it. But the general manager said he has a desire to land an impact starting pitcher. Well, what do you know? The Angels are always trying to land a guy. Go look at my predictions and see I have the Angels landing someone. I do have them landing a starting pitcher. Go check it out. Go see who I think is going to end up going there. But he does say here, frontline starting pitching is tough to acquire. It's very difficult. That being said, we'd like to significantly improve our rotation. That's an area where we'll definitely look for a certain type of quality. So no surprise here that they've checked in on someone like an Eduardo Rodriguez and someone like Robbie Ray as well. So that is interesting. And supposedly not even supposedly, it was confirmed that the Angels had guys out there to watch Justin Verlander. So that's another guy to keep an eye out for the Yankees. We were talking about the Yankees earlier. We talked about how they're looking at Matt Olson. They're looking at Corey Seager. But they're also showing some interest in Justin Verlander as well. So I'm not surprised about that. Go to my free agent predictions and go see where I have Verlander ending up. Maybe it'll surprise you. You have to wait and see. But the Angels, they need to improve their rotation. Let's go take a look at their rotation right now. The rotation, I mean, hey, it gets off to a pretty good start with Shohei Ohtani. But after that, I mean, you got Patrick Sandoval. He had an okay year last year. Jose Suarez had an okay year. But after that, Reed Detmers, I think he's going to be better. But he got really roughed up in a short time with the Angels last year. He's got to get better. They need improvements. They need guys. I wonder if they go for a lefty, though. There's a lot of lefties in this rotation right now. So do they go with a righty? I don't know. It looks like they're showing, at least kicking the tires on Eduardo Rodriguez and a Robbie Ray. Got to wait and see. But interesting to note that the Red Sox have made a multi-year offer. So I think it's going to come down to who's going to offer him the most money. As a team, could we see a team overpay for an Eduardo Rodriguez to beat out the Red Sox? With Chaim Bloom, he has a set value on certain players. He is not going to break the bank to try and bring a guy back. If another team goes past what he thinks the value of that player is, Chaim Bloom is going to say, well, see you later. But this is definitely interesting to keep an eye on for sure. So moving on to our next story, we'll talk about another lefty. Another left-handed starting pitcher is out there. Had some health issues last year. He's had health issues a lot in his career, but he really took a step forward last year, and that is Carlos Rodon. He wants a multi-year deal. It looks like, well, hey, Chicago, well, they didn't even offer him the qualifying offer, which I think a lot of people found surprising. But, I mean, you know, I find that surprising too, honestly. I don't know why they did not even send an offer. I don't know. But let's take a look at the story. So Scott Boras today, as I said earlier, making his rounds, you know, really making his guys, his players just sound like Babe Ruth out there. But here we go. The White Sox made the somewhat surprising decision to not issue the qualifying offer for Carlos Rodon. That allowed Rodon to hit the open market. And yeah, so the funny thing is that I found that surprising because the White Sox, they really could use some more draft picks, and they just didn't think he was worth the $18 million. He had a good season last year. Again, it was the health. So, but Boras said today, obviously, we're pursuing a multi-year contract and weren't going to sign a one-year contract. I mean, with a Carlos Rodon, there's a lot to like with a Carlos Rodon. The only thing that holds him back is the health. So you got to wonder about that. He has fixed up some things mechanically to where it takes a little more of the workload off of his shoulder. He's learned to incorporate his hips and his legs more. So, but, you know, how are teams going to look at him? Carlos Rodon is an interesting free agent to me because I think teams out there, they look at what he can do. They look at the talent and they see a good picture, but they see that he's had his health issues. So it's going to be interesting. Could a team, you know, jump at, you know, a multi-year, 4 or 5 year deal for Carlos Rodon? I think he ends up maybe getting 2 years, maybe an option, maybe a year and an option. I could see something like that. I don't know. I think it's going to be tough. I think a lot of teams are going to really wonder about that, just about his health. I wonder, though, there's some teams out there, might be willing to take a chance on a guy like a Carlos Rodon. So let's go take a look here. Let's go to the splits leaderboard on Fangraphs. Let's go to team pitching. Let's pull up the left-handed starting pitching stats on Fangraphs, and let's take a look here. Who could use some left-handed starting pitching? Well, the Nationals. Hey, I mean, I don't know. Probably not the Nationals. I mean, I guess they could use another starter. Definitely. I mean, but you got health issues already in that rotation. What's Strasburg going to be like? Do you want to bring in another guy who is going to have, you know, possible health issues? I wonder about a team like the Orioles, a team where I wonder if he ends up getting a 1 year deal. I wonder about that, you know, because I think teams maybe want to see him prove it. You know, okay, hey, prove that you can be healthy for a full year. Because if he can go out there and go have a year, you know, kind of like how Kevin Gausman bet on himself last year, could you maybe go see him out there, you know, someone like Marcus Semien too, where they bet on themselves for 1 year and then, you know, turning in a good season. So I think that's very possible for a Carlos Rodon. You know, go pitch 1 year for a team. Look out for a team like the Diamondbacks. Again, I'm kind of, you know, hopping on the Diamondbacks train, but I wonder if a team like the Diamondbacks would take a chance on him. They could use some starting pitching, you know, especially left-handed starting pitching as well. I mean, Madison Bumgarner, he has really yet to fully figure it out with the Diamondbacks. You know, I could also see a team like the Twins. The Twins could use some starting pitching. That's very possible as well. I wonder if a team like the Mariners would want to take a chance on a Rodon. Maybe catch lightning, you know, in a bottle, get a full healthy season out of him. The Indians, I could see it. The Rangers, I could see it. Any of these teams at the bottom, I could see them bringing in Carlos Rodon. I could definitely see it. Even the Cubs, I could absolutely see the Cubs bringing Carlos Rodon. I don't see, they need starting pitching as well. Could the Rockies take a chance on him? I think there's definitely one of these. I think he's going to go to one of these teams at the bottom. Maybe the Cardinals. That's possible. I think one of these teams near the bottom, they're going to get him. I don't see one of these teams. I don't know. Maybe the Dodgers, they really do well when it comes to development. So maybe they could even tweak his mechanics even just a little bit more to keep him, maybe fully healthy for a season. They tend to do pretty well when it comes to pitchers like that. I mean, could you see a team like the Giants? There's a lot of spots he can go. I think they wonder about how he is with the health, and I wonder how long is this contract going to be? Are teams going to want to commit to him for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or are they going to just say, no, we'll do a 1 year? Hey, we'll give you $20 million for a year. We think you're maybe worth a little more than the qualifying offer. But then again, I mean, teams don't really have to offer him that much. It's not like they have to beat out the White Sox at this point. So it's going to be interesting. I think one of these teams at the bottom end up getting him, a team that really needs to, take a chance. Look at the Rangers too. I think the Rangers absolutely could take a chance on him. He's still on the younger side. So I think the Rangers maybe give him like a 2-year deal, something like that. Maybe even a 3-year deal. Figure it out. I think I could see the Rangers doing it too. I could see a lot of these teams doing it. Maybe not the Tigers, maybe not the Royals, maybe the Angels, maybe. I think the Angels want a sure thing. So I don't think they're going to go with a Rodon. Probably not the Phillies. Maybe Houston, possibly Houston. I don't know. But I could definitely see some teams taking a chance on Carlos Rodon. How many years does he end up getting? I don't know. But let's take a look here at our next story. A couple more stories before we get out of here. I mentioned Seattle just a little bit ago, and Seattle looks like they have no plans on adding a shortstop, or at least moving J.P. Crawford off of the shortstop position. So J.P. Crawford had himself a pretty good season this past year with a surprising Mariners team. So let's go check out the story. So Mariners president of baseball operations, Jerry DiPoto, spoke to reporters during this week's GM meetings, offering a lot of insight into how the team plans to operate this offseason. So he talked about J.P. Crawford, and he said, one such line in the sand was DiPoto's proclamation that J.P. Crawford will remain the team's starting shortstop going into next season. DiPoto already had gone on record about the team's desire to supplement their core with versatile free agents. Keep an eye on that. The word versatile. That is a key. That's key right there, because it gives you an idea of maybe what kind of free agents they're looking at. Chris Bryant is a guy that can move around. Marcus Semien can play, he can play second. He can play short. He can play even a little third. Look out for Marcus Semien. Look out for a guy like Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor with the Mariners could make some sense. I think that's a big key word right there. Versatile. So Chris Bryant makes a lot of sense. He makes a lot of sense. I wonder if there's going to be other teams out there that gun for a Chris Bryant. Have to wait and see. I did a how to fix the Mariners a couple years ago, and I had Chris Bryant going to the Mariners. Going back to a year and a half ago. I don't know when I made the video. A year and a half ago. I thought Chris Bryant would be a great fit for the Mariners, like a winning type of player. Just a guy that really carries himself well. I think that he would be a good fit for the Mariners. I think that would be a good leader, for that team. And he can move around. He can play other positions as well. And then Chris Taylor, I think, would be a really good fit for the Mariners too. So, but even a Marcus Semien, I could see that too. But I think this is interesting that they said this. So they're not going to be looking at a guy like a Carlos Correa. They're not going to be looking at Corey Seager. Not going to be looking at someone like Trevor Story. Not even a Javier Baez at this point. So you can count out all the free agent shortstops for the Mariners. I was wondering at one point, would the Mariners maybe go after, a shortstop, maybe move J.P. Crawford maybe to second or maybe third or something like that. But hey, big news. I think this is pretty big news that it really shows what the Mariners are looking to do. Look out for Chris Bryant to the Mariners. Look out for maybe a Chris Taylor. Look out for maybe a Marcus Semien. I think one of those guys is going to end up with the Mariners. So that's what I'm thinking. And we got one more story here before we get out of here, everyone. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Phillies. So they've kind of, drawn in the sand of what they're looking to do. And that is looking to improve the bullpen. No surprise, because it's an absolute dumpster fire. And some outfield upgrades. So, hey, let's take a look here at the Phillies. So, again, what I like about the general manager meetings, what I like about it is you get an idea of what these general managers are looking to do. God, I would love to go to the general manager meetings one day. I would love to be able to get access into one of these. That's a goal, man. I want to go to the winter meetings. I want to go to the GM meetings. I want to go to all the meetings. I just want to have a badge on, and I just want to go around with a dumb little maybe even this microphone, a dumb little microphone, and just, hey, Chaim Bloom, what are you doing this offseason, man? What are you doing? What are you doing? You gonna sign Carlos Correa? What are you doing? But I would love that one day. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe one day. But for the Phillies, Dave Dombrowski. I know me a little Dave Dombrowski, and this guy's probably going to make himself a couple of deals this offseason. But this is definitely a thing they need to improve on. The bullpen, one of the worst bullpens in the major leagues last year. Don't fault the Phillies for not trying. They tried to add some guys to this bullpen. It just didn't work out. Sounds like maybe they got maybe an internal issue going on there. So, but then the outfield as well. They really could use a center fielder. They could use a leadoff guy as well. There is one guy in my free agent predictions. Yeah, I'm going to plug my free agent predictions. They're all going to be wrong, but I gotta plug it. But I have one guy going to the Phillies that he kills two birds with one stone. He can play center field. He can lead off for you. Go check it out and see what you think. But there are a couple of guys out here. Dave Dombrowski mentioned, he said, if I had to say one thing, I'd probably say I'd like to have somebody that can close a game for us and count on it. I mean, I'm just saying here. Don't be surprised if Craig Kimbrell ends up with the Phillies. Don't be surprised. Dave Dombrowski, he brought Craig Kimbrell to Boston. He's got a chance at him again. Look out for Craig Kimbrell, man. I wonder if he ends up going to do that. You got someone like Raisel Iglesias. There's not a lot of closers out there. Maybe Kenley Jansen. That's possible. Kenley Jansen, a guy that you can count on to close games. I know Kenley Jansen's had his moments in the postseason. I know that. But I wonder, because when you look at all of these guys, if I were to look at someone like Craig Kimbrell, Raisel Iglesias, Kenley Jansen, I don't know. I'm going Kenley Jansen. I'm going with the guy that saved over 350 games. That's just what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Kenley Jansen might be, based off of what he's saying here, that you can count on a guy to close out the game for you. Kenley Jansen sounds like he makes a lot of sense. Oh, did they, Kimbrell already got brought back? Oh, that's right. You're right. Aaron Riss, I meant to say, sorry. They exercised the option. Don't be surprised if Dave Dombrowski maybe looks to trade for Craig Kimbrell. Sorry about that. But I could see that. Why not? He needs to add guys to the bullpen. The White Sox are probably going to look to try and trade him. So I have to wait and see. But I could definitely see Kenley Jansen. Out of all the free agents, he makes the most sense to me. Raisel Iglesias is good too, but he has his issues. He has his issues here and there. I could see Kenley Jansen with the Phillies. Hey, Starling Marte makes a good bit of sense in center field. I'm just saying, I mean, there might be some guy that I might have suggested on my free agent predictions. Go take a look. Is Starling Marte the guy that I projected for the Phillies to go get? Maybe. I'll have to wait and see. But there are a lot of other outfielders as well. Kyle Schwarber, Aviseo Garcia. Mark Canha is an interesting one. I think Mark Canha could be a pretty good fit there. But you do have a Kendall Graveman. That's possible. He gives up a lot of ground balls. The Phillies defense last year, let me hold on. I'm trying to remember here. The Phillies defense, where did they rank? Phillies They were 18th. So, I don't know. How many double plays? Let's go to standard. Double plays finished. Well, the Phillies had 143 double plays finished. Oh, double plays turned. Where were they at here? They were 8th in double plays turned. So, I don't know. Well, they ranked pretty high when it came to double plays. So, I don't know. Maybe Kendall Graveman's a possibility. It's possible. But there's a lot of options out there. I think you're going to see the Phillies go out and get one of these guys. They're trying to win there, man. They got talent. Good chance Bryce Harper wins this MVP award. So, they got a good team there in Philly. They just need to add a couple more guys. So, we'll have to wait and see. I'm excited for it. But everyone, that's all I got for tonight. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. And again, I'm going to plug it one more time. My free agent predictions. Go take a look if you haven't checked it out yet. I took a lot of time working on this one. I'm probably going to get them all wrong, but you know what? They're fun. So go check it out. Go tell me what you think. Leave a comment down below on those and let me know what you think. Again, one more time, if you are new, think about subscribing to the channel. We're trying to get to 15K. Hit that like button for me, everyone, so this gets out to more people that weren't able to get here tonight. Hit the bell notification. Share this stream, any other content that you think is shareable. But everyone, that is all I have for tonight. I want to thank you for stopping by tonight. Have a good rest of your night. Have a good day tomorrow. And if anything else happens in the news tomorrow, I'll be right back here for all of you. Everyone, have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow. And I'll talk to you next time.